Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via, a.k.a. Red Onion Randy. I'm currently serving 1,214 years for capital murder and armed robbery. Now, and finally, at a level 3 Buckingham Correctional Center, stone's throw from where I grew up. If you have any questions or comments or want to leave a message or whatever, I've got a voicemail line. That number is 1-888-524-1932. You can also visit my website, which is new and improved and got different features and whatnot, at www.redonionrandy.com. I hope you do. Let's get started with the podcast. One, folks, you have my apologies that you did not hear my dulcet tones last week. I apologize for that. Unfortunately, we got caught with our pants down, me and my editor. We didn't have one in the can or anything, but in our defense, I did just get transferred, and just the back and forth and getting things set up and getting my stuff and everything. Though I do hope that you enjoyed hearing from the lady from California. You'll forgive me, but I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. We thought that a different perspective, even though that was original, content from Prison Audio and my editor's channel. We thought y'all might enjoy just, hearing something, because by the time we got off of Statewide lock, there was literally just no time. But yeah, Statewide lock. It is freaking, things have been getting crazy here in the state of Virginia. You have a lot of guys come here from out of state, and, because they see white guys and black guys and, Spanish guys and Asian guys, like, all hanging out, making meals and doing business and, living in the cells with one another and all that. Mostly out west especially, the white guys are with the white guys, the black guys are with the black guys, the Spanish guys are with the Spanish guys. And there's a little crossover between Spanish and white, but for the most part, the blacks are completely alone. They've got their island, and then the other races kind of have theirs. So they come here to Virginia, and they're like, it's soft here, it's weak here. I can't tell it. In 2 weeks, in a 2-week time span before we went on lock, so it's been about a month now, you had 3 MS-13 gang members attacked 5 COs at Wallens Ridge. It actually made the national news. I know it was on News Nation there. It made the local news here in Virginia. I'm not sure if it made CNN or MSNBC or whatever. But they stabbed up 3 of them, and they beat the hell out of 2 more. They put 3 MS-13s put 5 staff members in the hospital. Not the kind of hospital stay where you go in for a couple hours, you get a few stitches, and then you go back home. No, like, they stayed there for a minute. Like, them boys put work in for real. Then, like, 3 or 4 days after that, here at my new prison, Buckingham, you had 2 COs got stabbed up down in a building. I don't know if there's any truth to what I'm about to say. It's just simply inmate.com. I heard the reason why was because they had made a deal with a gang member to bring in, packages, drugs, cell phone, blah, blah, blah. And, they got the money, but then they refused to provide the service and actually bring it in. So, the higher-up sent one of his youngins at them, and they got stabbed up. Then, like, a couple of days after that, you had a CO at, I believe it was either Green Rock or Greensville, got stabbed. And then on the Wednesday that they actually locked us down, I'm outside. I go out. I got my leg workout in. I've got the 15-pound dumbbells in my hand, and I'm actually running around the track. When the COs come out, start blowing the whistle, and, guys start heading up towards the gate and everything. I've got my headphones on, so I couldn't even actually hear the whistle. I just kind of see what's going on. I dropped the weights. I pulled the headphones off, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And they're like, man, they come out and told us to lock down. So I grabbed the weights back. I run down, throw them where they're supposed to be, and I run back in. I immediately get on the kiosk, shoot an email to my wife, hey, we're going on lock. I don't know if we're going to get our video visit today. Jumped in the shower real fast, started taking my shower. Of course, the COs come in. They're screaming at me to get out the shower, and I'm like, bro, I was on the rec yard. I'm working out. I'm drenched in sweat. I'm getting a shower. I'll lock down here momentarily. Just give me a minute or two. Thankfully, they did. They could have been dicks about it and called it in saying I was refusing or whatnot. But at the end of the day, bro, I know what policy says. And policy says if you get outside rec, you get a shower when you come back in, no matter what. It doesn't matter if we're on lockdown or not. You still get your shower. So that lockdown, though, was precipitated by something that did not even happen at this prison. It was actually at Nottoway. They called us in about 9 o'clock-ish. So I'm assuming around like 8:30, give or take, a female investigator at Nottoway Correctional Center got stabbed. And, almost bled out. From what I was told, she barely made it to the hospital in time, and they had to airlift her off. They had to fly the helicopter in, pick her up, fly her to VCU, and, they got her into emergency surgery pretty much in the nick of time. So they lock us all down. That's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's in 2 weeks. In 14 days, 9 COs got stabbed. 9 COs had to go to the hospital. And one of them was absolutely life-threatening. And a female at that. So how soft can the state of Virginia be? And of course, it's understandable that Richmond was like, you know what, we're locking the whole state down. They locked everybody down. I'm not sure about, like the work camps and whatnot, because, work must continue. But I'm pretty sure if you wasn't working for the Department of Corrections, your ass was locked in that cell and you wasn't coming out for nothing. They literally canceled doctor visits, dentist appointments, everything up here at Buckingham. They canceled my video visits. My editor, he got his canceled. My wife had numerous video visits canceled. My buddy Brian, who's an actor from L.A., his video visit got canceled, all that stuff. And, of course, not a single one of them has been reimbursed by GTL for that, which, I will be raising hell over that starting tomorrow, as soon as the Memorial Day weekend is over with and they come back to work. I'm chewing their ass out. Man, it was a sucky-ass lockdown. It was just because where I come from up in the mountains, look, if you've been listening to my podcast for any length of time, I don't have very much nice to say at all about the Western region. About being at Red Onion, Wallace Ridge, Keene Mountain, River North. There's not much good to say about them places. When I first got to Keene Mountain, it was all right. And I think that's because, though, I had a little bit more freedom and so on and so forth there. And the trades were actually pretty decent when I first got there, though. That changed by the time I left. So I had perspective, I had understanding, and I think, like, you know what, I'm no longer in a Supermax, so I was definitely seeing King Mountain through some rose-colored glasses. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter. There was only one time. There was one time they canceled our video visits during lock. And we raised hell about that, and they actually came back and apologized to us, saying that, yeah, the video visits should not have been canceled and they will not be canceled again. And they wasn't. They were men of their word when it came to that, because there was numerous times. I remember one incident, dude, it's freaking engraved into my head. I've got my video visit. The pod is getting their pod wreck. It's like 8 o'clock at night. And it's actually with my buddy Brian, the actor from L.A., and there's a dude underneath the steps in the back of the pod. He's freaking ODing. He's overdosing hard. So they call it in and everything, and the COs come running in. All right, lock down. Everybody in the pod locked down except me, because I had a video visit. They're literally dealing with the guy ODing, and they did not lock me down because they said they was no longer going to cancel video visits, and they meant it. So I'm thinking, this is definitely going to be the same way down here. We go on lock. I'm going to still get my video visits. I'm going to be able to speak to my wife. I'm going to be able to speak to my friends who set up the video visit and everything. And I'm okay. I don't really care about lockdown. I'm used to being in that cell. It means nothing to me. It's just I have become accustomed to my video visits, though. It's just, you people out there have no idea how much that helps, how happy that makes me. Other inmates, it is an absolute treat to get a video visit, especially when you get 50 minutes, because, let's face it, our phone calls are only 20 minutes. And they get expensive. I would love to be able to call somebody and just, talk 3 or 4 times, an hour or so. But, that's $3 damn right there for me to be able to do that, and they just simply cannot afford that. Hell, there's very few people in prison who actually can afford that. So I want my video visits. That's 50 minutes for $7. I actually get to see the person. I get to see their mannerisms, their expressions. I get to, especially if they pick the laptop up and they walk me through their house. They take me outside and show me the yard or the street or wherever the case may be. I get to. That's a hell of an escape. So Wednesday morning, after I'm back in the shower, after I'm back in the cell after my shower, about maybe 40 minutes, I see the warden making around. So I pull up on the door, and when he comes in the pod, I'm like, "Hey, newcomer, come here, let me holler at you." And he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, what kind of lockdown we on? He said, "Well, I don't know." Said, "What do you mean you don't know? You're the one that had to get on the radio and call for the lockdown." He said, "Well, Richmond called and said to put us on lock." I'm like, "Huh?" Okay. And we're like, "Well, look, bro, am I going to get my video visit with my wife at 3 o'clock today?" And he's like, "I don't see why you wouldn't." So I'm like, "All right, good. I don't care about anything else." Then, throughout the day, they pass out lunch and so on and so forth, and guys are asking the pod feeders, because when the pod feeders came out, they're talking to the COs and the sergeant, like, what's going on? And originally it was rumored that someone here had written on a request form. They didn't sign their name or anything like that. They just wrote 2 Crips are going to murder a CO. And that's why we was on lock, supposedly why we was on lock. And I'm like, that makes no sense. You're going to lock us down over something like that? First of all, if I'm an investigator and I get a request form like that, I'm just going to ball that and throw it in the trash. It's impossible to investigate something like that. The only way I think you could actually investigate that is to call the Virginia State Police in and say, "Hey, we got this request form saying that 2 of our officers, or officer or whatever the case may be, is going to be stabbed or murdered. And we need y'all to come here and fingerprint this so we can find out who sent this request form." That's the only reasonable way. And then they come in, they fingerprint it, because let's face it, you're not in prison unless they have multiple sets of your fingerprints, your DNA. I mean, they have all of that. Then you call that person over there to the investigator, and you be like, all right, look, man, why did you send this? Who? What two Crips are going to do this? What Paul? What, like, you're going to talk. And if they don't talk, I didn't send it. You get an ass beat. As simple as that. Oh, it's police brutality. Look, something like that, you do some shit like that, I'm all on the police side. Whoop his fucking ass. Get the information you need from them. Take us off lock, and let's go on about our damn business. That's some shit right there. That's a punk. And I already know if this actually did happen, if this was just one of those catalyst things like everything together. You have to do what you have to do. Right? That's not something that you can take lightly. Do what you got to do. Like, I'm not going to hold that against y'all. Like, I'm not actually going to say anything bad to y'all about that. But I know if it happened, I know why it happened. It's some little punk-ass junkie ran up a drug debt to those two inmates, and he can't pay. He doesn't really want to check in, so he tried to do some punk to get them locked up so he wouldn't have to pay them. That's why, if you're a correctional officer and you listen to me, which quite a few do, surprisingly, if you get something like that, man, just ball it up and throw it in the trash. I mean, there's no point in doing this right here. I mean, we was locked down. I mean, they were not letting us out. And I mean, I almost lost it. So, because the warden had told me that I don't see why you wouldn't get your video visit. To me, that's tantamount to you saying, absolutely, you're getting it. I ain't cancel it, and I'm not going to cancel it. So, 10 minutes before 3 o'clock, the CO comes in the park, and I'm like, hey, yo, bro, I got a video visit. He tells me, man, dude, all video visits have been canceled. I'm like, hell no, man. I spoke to the warden this morning. Like, he told me I'm getting my video visit. Like, man, I want my video visit, man. Pop this door. He was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. We got into it, bro. Now, look, did I take my frustration out on him? Yes, I did. However, I did not cuss him in. I was not yelling. I was not screaming at him. I wasn't cursing or any of those things. But I told him about himself, and I told him about the department.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I had that boy so upset. Like, he got so nervous, so scared of me, that he's like, he popped the door. He told him, man, open the door. Dude, he's like, go over there, tell your wife that you cannot have the video visit. It's been canceled, and you got to lock back. Man, make sure you lock this door. I said, all right, fine, thank you. He walked up out the pod and left me in the pod, the door open. So I walk over to the video visit monitor, and it was gone. It said no upcoming visits today, so they had already canceled it. And I didn't see that man for a week and a half. I did apologize to him the other day. I thought I made him quit. That's the reason why we didn't have a podcast episode last week. All right, that's all the time we have for now. I appreciate you listening to me more than you'll probably ever know. I just want to let you know, don't forget to check out my website, RedOnionRandy.com. And for those of you who want to hear more, or you want to listen to the episodes commercial-free, or hear me and my editor discuss a little bit further into the episodes, please go to Patreon, join me, support me. It's only $5 a month. And just a reminder, I have a cookbook out. You're going to eat that. You can find it on our website or Amazon Kindle or Amazon Print.
Thank you for using GTL.